save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance, then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we are here with a very special, remote guest this morning. So welcome to the program. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I am wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you could introduce yourself and tell everybody kind of your official title.
My name is Tiffany Baldwin, and I am the program manager for Downtown Chillicothe.
And boy, oh boy, Tiffany, I just want to give you all kudos for a lot of the things that you are doing in downtown Chillicothe. I happened to be there yesterday, actually, and was driving around looking at some of the beautiful building facades and just all of the neat things, the little businesses and all kind of cool things that you all have done down there. You all are just killing it. And just again, kudos to you because you're making it happen. And, so many so many little towns want their downtown to come back and thrive and all of that. And you all have succeeded. So congrats on that.
Thank you. It's definitely a work in progress, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen. And we just want to make sure that it's a place that people want to come visit and or come back home after they've graduated from college. We don't want to lose our people. We want to bring them back. So we've got to make it hip and interesting and give them things to do.
And it takes a very special formula to do all of that. You have to have people willing to invest, but you also have to have forward thinkers and, people kind of spearheading the projects that think outside the box. And sometimes that's very difficult.
For sure. It absolutely is. That's why it takes a lot of people to accomplish anything that we want to do in the downtown. So I'm governed basically by a board of 20 right now. So they have a huge impact on, what goes on. You may not see them because they're more kind of behind the scenes, whereas I'm the front point person or whatever have you. But yeah, it takes all of them. And there are a lot of the creative minds that come up with these ideas too.
I was just thinking, when did this movement of downtown, revitalization started several years ago, but when did Chillicothe really start working on their downtown?
Well, so Downtown Chillicothe became an organization in 2018.
Okay.
So shortly before that, a couple of years before that the surge started happening in our downtown. And so we knew that we needed somebody to help that process along. So that's why we were created, just because we saw the hype with historic downtowns and what it was bringing to a community.
And what have been some of the events or milestones that have occurred? Obviously, we all dealt with the pandemic and all that, but what are some of the things that occurred over time to make the downtown as cool as it is today?
Well, you have to make it attractive.
Yes.
So you're adding things like the flowers to the downtown. And these are all the things that Downtown Chillicothe as an organization either raises money for, writes grants for, or spearheads the particular project. So these are just the projects that I'm going to talk about. So again, the
Yeah.
flowers, because you're making the flower, the downtown beautiful by
Sure.
adding color and whatnot. We've added wayfinding signs at the downtown to help people find our businesses in the downtown. Just because you're not on the main street, we need people to know that you're on these little side streets as well. We started an alley beautification project. You
Okay.
may have seen, like in some other communities too, they have like destination alleys. So people will go and take selfies or whatever. So as we're beautifying these alleys to make them more attractive, we're also making them destination alleys, because that's also a way to make it more hip and more relevant and current, because kids are searching for this stuff. So we've started doing that. We control all of the banners in the downtown, so those will switch in and out, and we keep it relevant with, making it historic and relevant to our area. So we make sure that when we look through the applications, that it's just not some willy-nilly, bright neon sign that's going up. So we go through all of that. And then we also would handle any murals that come into the downtown, just to make sure, again, it follows the guidelines and the colors and different things like that. Most recently, this past year, we were awarded $50,000 from the T-Mobile Hometown Grant, and we're getting ready to install.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge. 2 digital, interactive, multilingual kiosks in the downtown that are wheelchair accessible, handicap accessible. So you can roll up to these kiosks, type in what you're looking for. It'll pull up the business or businesses that you've searched for, load directions, and then you can hold your phone right up to it and it'll download the directions onto your phone. So it's
Wow.
advertising for our businesses and helping people to find them a little bit easier. And then we've also added a selfie feature to it. So you can stand there and take selfies and tag Downtown Chillicothe. So it's just getting more advertising for our area and whatnot. So we're super excited about those. And then kind of going back to that alley beautification project, we just put our first big mural up. So when you were in downtown, I don't know if you saw like where High Five Cakes was, or if you know where that is.
That's beside the down kind of like where Old Capitol is, right? Or
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So the alley right there is where we put our first mural. It's a vinyl wrap, and we partnered with Ohio University Chillicothe. So they did all the artwork because they wanted a presence in our downtown. So we're like, hey, let's, kind of create a mural with them in mind. So we did, and we just put that up. And so we're super happy with that because the wall is super pretty now. So we do different things like that, add bike racks, more trash cans. We also are the keepers of Dora, which is the downtown. Yeah, so, okay. So we get the community involved in different things like that we know other communities, Columbus, Cincinnati, some of the bigger cities are doing for their community. So we want to stay relevant again. So we handle everything pertaining to Dora. And then we have our organization. We put on 5 events a year, and these events help sustain our program, but it also goes back into the downtown. So like when we put Christmas lights in the downtown or the flowers, the money will go into those projects also. So we do a Brew Fest, and that's in June. And this was our second year, totally successful. We doubled our revenue from last year. Totally
I want to
happy.
stop you right there for a second because I was in on, cause I don't know if you remember me or not. We have Sixth Sense here in Jackson, and we met we met with you. I think you and some other folks, like when you all were first talking about the Brew Fest last year. And I remember my husband and I like, man, that's just a big chunk to take on. There's beer festivals everywhere now. And we were like, man, good for them for wanting to do it. And we went last year and worked that thing. And I'm just going to tell you that I have never in my life, of all the beer festivals we've worked, we have never had lines like we did last year. And I know we didn't personally get to work it this year, but our brewers did. And they said that it was absolutely insane. The attendance and the way it was put together was just wonderful. And so again, I just want to give you a shout out for my own personal experience of you guys killed that thing. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know it was possible to do as much as you did. I've never seen so many people in one
Oh,
beer festival in my life. It was crazy.
thank you. That's so good to hear. I love that
So
feedback.
good.
Yeah, it was just our second year this year. And like I
Yeah.
said, we were super close to doubling attendance as well as doubling our income. So, we try to make it bigger and better every year. And I think next year, we may add a different twist to it because we have a local winery. So I kind
Yes.
of want to include them too. So I don't know if I'll call it like a spirits festival, or something. So we've
Sure.
got the beer and we've got a distillery over in Bainbridge. So the distillery and the winery and just kind of add everybody. But obviously the community loves it. They're coming out.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's kind of like the old if you build it they will come
Right.
situation, and you all just have really hit it big in the downtown area, and it seems as if people are really really supportive of the events and things that you're doing, but it also takes a village. You have to have the businesses downtown, and you have to have the people that are willing to paint their buildings and do all the things. So it's just like this big circle that goes
Right.
round, but
You're,
it's
you're right.
amazing.
Yes, for sure. It is. Well, again, thank you for the nice comments and feedback on that.
Oh, absolutely. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to tell you from personal
You're totally fine.
experience, good job.
I'm glad you interrupted me. And so then after that, then we shift gear to Sand in the Streets, which I'll hit on that here in just a second. And then after that, we go into Oktoberfest. So that will be in September, actually, because Oktoberfests are usually held in September, believe it or not
Yep.
October. And then we have a Rudolph run at the end of the year, which it's just a 5K or a 1 mile walk that we do in December, which that's successful as well. And then the fifth thing I guess I didn't mention was Restaurant Week, and we do that
Mhm.
in January when it's slow. So yeah, our big one that we're gearing up for right now is
Oh
Sand in the
my
Street.
gosh. Crazy.
It's crazy for sure. Yeah. It's our fourth year, and each year we try to make it bigger and better, identify something that we didn't have the year before. So this year, as crazy as it seems to me and my co-chair on this, is we're making it into a 2-day event this year.
Oh my.
So normally it's just all been on Saturday. So we started with the volleyball play super early and then ended with the beach fest late at night.
Yep.
And we're like, oh my gosh, it's such a long day, because you set up on Friday and then you clean up on Sunday. So, but also what drove us to the decision that we made is we wanted to get the local high schools involved. The volleyball players cannot play because it's season for them. So we
Okay.
wanted to keep the date where it is because it's always been at the end of August, and we didn't want to switch that. So we were up against their high school season in
Sure.
action at that point in time. So the coaches are forming teams that are made up of the parents of the high school players. So
That's
the
awesome.
parents, it is awesome. They're going to play each other, and we have 12 schools participating. Or 12 teams, I should say, not schools, because for instance, the Chillicothe City Schools, they have a boy and a girls team. So we have a team representing the boys and the team representing the girls. So we have 12 teams, and they're competing for a chance to win $1,000, which will go back to their child's volleyball program. So that is a way how we were able to get the high schools involved. And then it's also, I know it's football home opening game for just about, I think, everybody in the county. So we're up against that. But I also realize too, not everybody's going to go to a football game, and it's nice to have options. So this is just another option for people that don't go to football games.
This Sand in the Streets, and last year was the first year that I have attended, and obviously I didn't play. I just watched it in awe of the folks that were participating. But who was the brainchild? How did this come to be? Because basically it's this, you all truck in like tons and tons of sand onto Paint Street in downtown Chillicothe and make these ginormous sand volleyball courts and have like a tournament in the downtown area on top of the street. It is crazy to me.
Right. So a couple of things I want to mention there. So the brainchild was Aubrey Hernstein. She's on the Downtown Chillicothe board,
Mm-hmm.
and she thought out of the box. I told you my board is my brainchild, so
Sure.
I
Love
rely
that.
on them. And so she thought, how can we come up with a cool event that other communities aren't doing that's going to bring a lot of people, again, that's relevant. A lot of people are starting to get into sand volleyball right now for whatever reason. And so it was her idea. And so through her craftsmanship, here we are.
It's crazy.
So it is crazy. And we bring in over 300 tons of sand.
Yes.
So yeah, and we make 4 courts. We do not. That is a hard no for us. We are not making more than 4 courts. So we have to figure out how to grow it upward instead of outward.
We draw the line somewhere
Right,
in the
we do.
sand, literally.
But what's kind of cool is when you start getting feedback from some of these players, because we have teams that come from out of state, even
Yes.
not just out of city, but out of state, like especially like in our open league. So like the big dogs that are coming to play, they travel, they're on a circuit and they travel all around. And when they come to our community, they are totally impressed with the street, how the sand goes down, how it's in front of the courthouse, and kind of the photo ops that they get with that. They
Yes.
love that. And we've heard that so many times, but then they also hear how well of a run program that it is also. So we love to get that feedback. And if they can go out and tell their community about it, how well we're doing, that's a win for us. So
And I think that, and this is to toot the horn of our entire area for a moment, if you don't mind, because I think that, in talking with people that travel through Jackson, especially because that's where I am here, what I get the most is how kind and nice folks are in our area. And it's ingrained in our culture, and we don't understand that we're doing it.
exactly.
I think that we are just hospitable by nature, and people are very kind and helpful and pleasant, and for the most part. And I think that it is surprising when people travel from all over the place and they come to Southern Ohio and they're just like, wow, everyone here is so cool and nice. And we don't see that very often.
Right. Yeah, that is nice. And something else that we have to keep in mind too, I'm hoping everybody at least has that mentality that, yes, I've got to be nice. If we've got visitors in our downtown, I need to answer questions for them because they don't know our area. So you want to
Sure.
make their experience the best that it can be. But also, if we don't have that in our mindset, we need to get that in our mindset because of just being awarded that World Heritage designation. That's super huge for our community. So,
Yep.
we're going to be having visitors come from all over the world for this.
Yep.
Like I was just talking to the Visitors Bureau last week, and they already have people calling from Australia, from England, whereas before the designation, they were getting calls from Kentucky and West Virginia. And that was like
Sure.
awesome. Now it's Australia because people are looking into starting to make their plans, actually booking for 2027 already to come explore our area. So we need to be nice to these people and hospitable.
Yes.
So you're right.
It is just it's we need to appreciate every person that gets their butt on a plane or in their car and drives to our locations because they can go anywhere in the world they want to go. And if they choose to come to Southern Ohio, then we should certainly tell them we appreciate them, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's awesome. So
Yeah,
Sand on the Streets, back to that. Is that this coming weekend?
it is. It's
Okay.
yeah. So we start dumping sand Friday morning about 6:30 a.m. and we'll plan, get everything set up. And so how we changed it this year, not only, like I said, is we're involving the schools, but Friday night, the 2-day event will start with, it's called Battle on the Beach. And that's where the team's parents are playing each other. So that's at 5:30 on Friday.
That's so fun.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And we're also giving away 2 iPads to 2 high school students, 1 boy and 1 girl, that evening, after Battle on the Beach. And then immediately after Battle on the Beach, we transition into Beach Fest. So we have a band, it's a Zach Brown tribute band coming from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Cool.
Right, to play on our beach. So that will start at 7:30 and go till about 10:30. And then we start tearing down things to prepare for Saturday morning, because now we've got to get our courts up and ready. So that will happen. And then volleyball play will start at 8 a.m. on Friday or Saturday morning. So that's kind of the transition of the day. And I do want to mention this year we were able to secure a sponsor to create it free the entire weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was going to be my next question, because I know last year we had to pay a couple of dollars just to get into the kind of the area. Even though it's public and downtown, you still had to get into the area.
Yeah, it was $5 to get into the area, and this year everything is totally free. So
wow.
Yeah, we were super happy about that. Just another element to bring more people in and to give them something to do. And then on Saturday, what we were also able to do was, I guess we did do a lot of changes this year. So we started out with 16 recreation teams, 8 competitive teams, and then 8 open teams. Well, when the registration opened for the recreation league, it was sold out in 5 minutes. So we thought, oh my gosh, this is, yeah, right? This is a hot commodity. People are like messaging us, oh my gosh, I didn't get in. Can you put me on a wait list? Da, 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 da. And so we had to figure out a way that we could make that portion bigger. So we talked to the people who are emceeing this for us, which is COVA, which is the Chillicothe Outdoor Volleyball Association. So they're emceeing for us. And so as long as they thought that we could make this tournament a success by adding more teams and not running totally late into the evening, then we were going to do it. So we added 16 more recreation teams. So we have 32 now. So that's why we're starting at 8, because we have to get them rolling super early. And then the competitive and open start actually at 10 a.m. So.
And if you don't even know anything about volleyball, which I really don't, but I'm just going to tell you, I stood there in awe last year and watched these folks. I mean, they are so talented, and it is just so fun to watch.
It is. I agree. So court 2 is where I keep calling them the big dogs, just so everybody knows. That's where they're playing, right in front of the courthouse. Yep. That's the open league, and those are the travelers that kind of go around on a circuit or whatever. They're actually competing for a cash prize of $3,000. So
wow.
Yeah, we had to entice them somehow, because we want them here. Because as you saw last year, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
I mean, they mean business when they play. I wouldn't want to be behind their spike.
No, absolutely not.
No. And then competitive, they're a step above recreation. So they're also awesome to watch. And they're on court 1. And they're playing for a cash prize of $1,000. And then recreation, they have a cash prize of $250, which was basically their registration fee. So we're at least giving them back their registration fee. But then, of course, awesome. You have the title of winner. So
plus they have bragging rights.
Exactly. Yeah, and so also, I do want to mention this is a family-friendly event. So please bring your children. And we hope to have a little area that we have called like a child's area or whatever, so that the kids can play in the sand as the volleyball play is going on. Last year we had to eliminate it just because of the way the courts ended up falling and some of the setup. So we had to eliminate it last year, but we hope to have it again this year. And then let me back up to Beach Fest. So also bring your kids to that, because they can play in the sand that evening. And we're going to have toys in the sand. We're going to have balls and buckets and sunglasses and just different things like that are all throughout the sand that the kids can play with and take home with them. So that's kind of cool. The kids had so much fun last year, because you can take off your shoes and you can, it's like you're on the beach. You're in the sand.
Just be a kid.
Just be a kid.
Just be a kid.
Yes. So, and bring your beach chair if you want a place to sit. We have a couple of Adirondack chairs that we set out, but obviously it's not enough for everybody. So please feel
Sure.
free to bring your chair also. But yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed weekend.
Well, again, you all are doing amazing things, and I small town life, sometimes you struggle a little bit with people. I don't know how to say it. You mentioned it earlier, and this is what my philosophy has always been. Just because we live in a small town doesn't mean we shouldn't have big city things.
Right.
And I think what you all are doing is so very, very cool and forward thinking and making it happen. And it takes a lot of people that are supportive along the way to do so.
Absolutely. I mean, if we didn't have the support of the city, I mean, they're
Yeah.
huge in everything that we get done. The Chamber of Commerce, Economic Development, and the Visitors Bureau. If those are like my core people that I go to for everything. And if I didn't have their support, we wouldn't be doing, what we are doing, because they help. Even though downtown Chillicothe specifically works in just the downtown area, and like the chamber, they do all of the county.
Sure.
I mean, we have to work together to make this all
Yes.
happen. So my office is actually housed in the chamber, and it's such a great partnership because, like, if somebody comes through the door that specifically has downtown questions, then I'm there to answer them if they can't answer them. So, yeah. And like I had mentioned, you want to bring back these college kids that leave. So
Absolutely.
I mean, you want them to come back. That's the bread and butter of everything in the downtown. So also, with our downtown, we try to make it a walkable downtown. So you try to make sure that when you get new investors and businesses to come into downtown, that it's enticing and inviting for them. Because why would they want to come, set up shop in our downtown if things weren't attractive to them? So when you jockey for these new businesses that are coming to the downtown, you need to make sure, okay, if somebody's going to live in the downtown up above a business, then is there medical services? Is there, a place to buy clothing? Is there a place to eat? Is there a place to go grab a beer? Different things like that. So you've got to jockey for all these different businesses. And I mean, sometimes that can be a struggle. And I can just say from personal experience, because I do have a building in the downtown, it's a partnership, but I'm 1/6 owner of this partnership. And so when we were trying to find a tenant, we called over 200 people to try to get somebody to fill that spot, but we were looking for a particular kind of clientele to go in there, a particular business. So it's hard, but that's what you have to do.
It is, and you had to advocate for yourself, but also for your community, and and if people get in that mindset, then it's win-win for everybody.
Right. Exactly. I agree with you. So keep doing bigger and better things.
That is so good. Well, I tell you what, this has been such a fun discussion, and again, I cannot just give you all kudos enough for the things that you're doing in downtown Chillicothe. It is amazing, and keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you at Brewfest next year.
Heck yeah. It's a good time.
Yes.
And all right. Well, Tiffany, have a great day. Thank you so much for spending part of your morning with us. We do appreciate it. And everybody come out to Sand in the Streets this weekend in Chillicothe, because if you haven't been there, it is really, really cool. So.
Right. And it's free.
And it's free this year. Right. Exactly. So, well, have a great day. Get back to work, because you have a lot of planning to do.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. And our good friend Pete Wilson just walked in. So that was perfect timing on that front. So come on over, Pete, and we will chat about some news. I didn't get to talk with you yesterday because I wasn't here. So I feel out of the loop.
All right, well, we had balls bouncing and everything in here, and helmet pads crunching, and
yes, all of the things.
right, all those figurative symbols of football season. It's coming. It's coming.
It is. Can you believe
I
it?
know we're going to work in some of that talk this week. Not just football, but fall sports. All of it is gearing up. Creates another element of the news there for all the sports aficionados out there. A lot of people involved, especially in small communities. But speaking of play, we're going to start off with what is a red letter date in Oak Hill today.
Okay.
Today at 4 o'clock, Oak Hill Elementary, the Oak Hill School District, is going to have a ribbon cutting, kind of like a dedication for their new playground equipment.
Awesome.
This is they did this with federal funds, and we have a picture there of the playground equipment that we can show you. And there's actually two components to the development there at the playground. The playground is located right in front of the elementary school, and they used federal funds, the ESSER funds. That's an acronym, and I can't tell you what ESSER stands for, but it's basically money that the feds threw at the schools because of,
You don't have it?
because of the
Okay.
because of the stress of COVID. So anyway, new playground equipment at 4 o'clock. The public's invited. It's just not a school event. Everybody can come.
It is a cool playground.
It is. It's new. They had some delays in getting the project done when they wanted, plus inspections and all like that. But it is ready just in time for the start of the school year. The school year starts on August the 22nd, which is Thursday.
Okay.
And so today will be the ribbon cutting and dedication for the playground equipment. Also, right next to the playground equipment is a huge shelter house that they're calling an outdoor education area. And
Amazing.
So they will be able to do outdoor classrooms and activities out there that are actually educational, just not recreational.
Do you remember being a kid and occasionally your teacher being like, you know what, it's a beautiful day. Let's go outside for a little bit and, have a lesson out there. And it was like the best treat ever. I can remember that. Just going outside and just not sitting in the classroom for a second.
This is a big area, and I know
that's awesome.
Not sure exactly how they're going to use it, but they are calling it an outdoor classroom area. And also, obviously, a lot of seating, recreational areas under cover and in the shade on those hot days when the kids are out on the playground, staff as well.
Yeah.
But this new shelter house, that's exactly what it looks like. There is one just like it at the high school. As you go into the access lane there,
Okay.
To the right of the parking lot on the other side of the access road is a similar shelter house. That will be a similar facility for Oak Hill High School Middle School. And those two shelter houses, outdoor education classrooms, were completed just in time for the start of the new school year. Brian Moore Construction out of Jackson actually did those. Playground was another contractor or contractors, but it's going to be a red letter day in Oak Hill. It dovetails with the open house that is going to be at Oak Hill Elementary tonight at 5 o'clock.
Perfect.
So, parents and kids coming for the open house and the orientation, they can come a little earlier and see the ribbon cutting and maybe go down the slide.
I was gonna say, get you a little taste of the new playground.
When I was down there a couple of weeks ago, I got to see the project in its final stages. It had just not had final inspection yet, but that happened the following weekend. So it is ready to go at Oak Hill Elementary School. We had a story on that in our Saturday paper, Jennifer, and that is online as well if you want to take a look at what that playground equipment and the outdoor education shelter house looks like. All right, last Friday, as you know, the Jackson County Family Bike Series went to Wellston.
Yes.
And it went very well. It was on Friday evening. The group took off from the depot.
Yep.
And they followed the bike path all the way from the depot, which is kind of where it starts in Pride Park in downtown historic Wellston, to Lake Alma State Park. It crosses the highway there, goes out of the city, goes in a very picturesque area down the bike path, and it empties out just at Lake Alma. And is
that the right one?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one of the photos right there. If you can you make that a little bigger there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, so the folks at home can see it just a little bit better. We have several pictures to show you from that event. This was the second family bike day event. The first one was on June the 29th on a Saturday in Jackson.
Yep.
Left
Love that.
From Eddie Jones Park, and they went through the city streets. and there was about 30 to 35 cyclists there, 30 about in Wellston. So that was pretty good too for a turnout, young and old alike. And John Darrow, he is in one of the pictures there that you're looking at on the right.
Mm-hmm.
He is the new recreation director in the city of Wellston. He's already actually doing some work a little bit early
Yeah.
on recreation programs. I am confident he will be a great recreation director, taking up where Make Wellston Beautiful has done so well with the recreation program in the past several years. But John there is on his bike, just turned 60, but by golly, he is on his bike there, and he led the way. He was honored.
Oh, I love that.
He was given, and I know he's going to be supportive of the biking program too. Not part of the recreation program, but certainly fits hand in glove with what he's trying to do with recreation. So he got to lead the way. The city of Wellston, Jackson County Forward, and the new Jackson County CVB were the sponsors, organizers of this. They had support too. Holzer Health System was there. Amy McGuire was there with her
Yep.
fresh fruit, healthy snacks there.
She's so supportive, or she and Holzer in general are very supportive.
Right.
Of this.
She was there as well, and a lot of kids were there as well with their parents. It was a good cross section of people that were at this family bike event. And here's the thing, Jennifer. As you know, I know Kay Howe and John Stabler were here talking about that. It's just not a chance to take a bike ride. It's to get people interested in cycling.
Sure,
Because-
absolutely.
Because
And community.
I'm old enough to remember there wasn't a kid who didn't have a bike. Now they don't. Now there's a kid without a cell phone. Now, but in my day, there was not a kid without a bike.
We were talking about
And I
that the
think
other
it still
day.
would be fun.
I know,
sure of
right?
that.
Like we were talking about that. The fact I was talking about that with some people at the restaurant the other day. That I mean, we would get on our bikes, and you never thought about being tired. You didn't get tired on your bike. Like today,
Well-
we would probably get a little
Well,
tired.
you know,
but like, I mean, we were just on our bikes. You just rode your bike everywhere,
you rode your bike for exercise, and to get around, you might ride to the pool.
and it was social.
Right, right. And even at the schools, there was a big rack for all the
Sure.
bikes. I don't think they have them now.
Yeah,
I
crazy.
know the 10-year-olds aren't allowed to drive, or 12-year-olds,
Right.
right? So I don't know. I guess they walk or they ride the bus or whatever. But
I know.
I-
Yeah,
I-
we
you know,
used to ride our bikes
that was another
everywhere.
day. I guess the point is, I'm not trying to turn the clock back. I'm just saying that bicycle riding can still be fun.
Absolutely.
And a lot of kids don't have bikes. And I think it's just because they don't know about them.
Yeah.
And so it's a great opportunity to learn if you're on these bike rides. And here's the great thing about it. You don't have to take a chance and go buy a bike. They will allow you to use one.
Sure. You can borrow
have in
one.
their stable of borrowed bikes. And there was a big array of borrowed bikes that you could do at both Jackson and Wellston.
Awesome.
And so, you can see how you like it. Go on an organized ride with other cyclists. And so they've done the one in Jackson. They've done the one in Wellston. September 14th, Saturday morning, they're going to do one in Oak Hill. That'll be the third one. And both Kay Howe and Amanda Crabtree, Kay Howe with CVB, Amanda Crabtree with Jackson County Forward, they have both emphasized that this is just the beginning. They're going to do things, they're going to do other organized bike rides and similar events to get people interested in biking, in recreation, and in the sites around here, with the idea that it's not only good for you and good for quality of life, but the bigger picture also is to work with the government officials to improve local facilities, local recreational facilities, trails, and whatnot,
Yes.
so that people will get outside and people will come and visit Jackson County who don't
Hey.
know what we have.
That's right.
Sometimes I think we don't know what we have.
You're right on that too. We don't appreciate it.
But anyway, I was there on Friday evening to see another positive event on the Jackson County Family Bike Day, and of course we got the one in Oak Hill coming up, and we'll stay tuned and obviously throw out information on other future activities such as that. I know that group is, they're working with government, they're trying to get grants, but the thing that is fueling them the most is enthusiasm. They are an enthusiastic group.
Yes, and can't
they
love
deserve-
that enough.
They deserve so much credit
They
for
do.
that. Speaking of tourism and recreation and making things better, the village of Zaleski, the tiny village of Zaleski, it is on the road to Lake Hope, I guess you could say. State routes 278 and 677 both go through Zaleski, and if you keep going north, you'll hit Lake Hope just 2 or 3 miles away. Well, as you know, Lake Hope State Park is probably the #1 tourist attraction in Jackson and Benton counties if you go by attendance. They say about 1 million visitors a year.
It's not
I
wild.
mean, that's crazy, but that's how many they say come there. And of course, it's in a very picturesque area. The Hocking Hills are just over the county line there. But Zaleski has long been viewed as a potential area for development because of this tourism. It's just several miles away, but it's just a little town of several hundred people. And you know what? They don't even have a convenience store or gas station there. You know, I think there's some potential there. But one of the things they want to do is to develop some tourism, some recreational facilities in the village, not only through local quality of life, but also to attract more attention and get people into the town. And, you know, this is outside money coming in. That's good for everybody, right? But anyway, they had a community meeting last week in Zaleski to talk about how to use a $3.6 million Appalachian Community Partnership Grant. That was one of the biggies that we announced, that the governor announced a couple of months ago, several months ago. The Rio Grande Center in MacArthur was another one. $3.6 million plus. I didn't realize this, but they also have a $2 million Ohio Department of Transportation plan. And what they're planning to do is improve their village park, which is already nice, what they already have, turn it into something of an event center with an amphitheater. And they want to, on the transportation part, build sidewalks that will connect with the trailheads to the famous Moonville Haunted Tunnel.
Super cool.
Which is nearby, but the problem has always been access. Even though, as the bird flies, it's not that far away. So it takes time, but they've got the money, and they had this community meeting. They've hired an architect to help them with the planning, and to his credit, he wanted to do a community meeting, and this will be the first of, I'm sure, others to come in the future to get public input on how to use this money. And so, so that was the first step there in Zaleski. All right. In other news, the Wellston City Board of Education recently approved a 3-year contract for its classified employees. That is the non-teaching employees that are unionized, and that is always a big deal. The personnel costs are usually the main cost in about any operation that you have, and that includes the schools. And so, you know, the schools have to run like a business. They try to treat their employees as good as they can, but also realizing that they're dealing with public money as well. So we always like to report at least the broad details of these contracts. And in Wellston, the board approved a 3-year negotiated agreement with the OPSE union. That's the classified employees, bus drivers, aides, custodians, cafeteria workers, secretaries. The agreement will go from July the 1st, this past July 1st, through the middle of June in 2027, a $1 increase on the hourly rate each year, $1 more on the hour each year, and the employees will see a total of $3 more over the course of that agreement. So it is a $1 an hour raise each of those 3 years for those employees, classified employees in Wellston. Okay, got a couple stories to tell you about our local airports. The Benton County Air Show is going to happen. Remember there was a concern last year about being able to do it because of manpower.
Yes.
It's a great show. It's it's one of the best. It's the only, they bill it as the best free air show in the state, and I'm sure it is. There is no admission. There is a parking fee. They get a little money that way, and they do concessions and like that.
Those chicken dinners.
Right. All ways to generate money for the airport. But Nick Rupert, who is a pilot himself, he's been the president of the Pilots and Boosters Association in the past. He's still handling the publicity. He put out the first article to confirm that the air show will indeed happen this year. The air show will take place on Sunday, September the 15th. So you might want to mark that date down. It is the 53rd Benton County Air Show. And the band will be there to perform. The football team will be there. They will help with some of the volunteer labor. The Eagles Club will be there. They do those chicken dinners, by the way.
Yep.
You know, the pilot boosters, it's a handful of pilots and boosters, and it's a small group that is responsible for a lot. It is a county-owned airport,
and the county provides money, but the pilot and boosters are the people, the professionals, kind of with the know-how about airports.
Yes.
And they work very closely with the county commissioners and the development department in Benton County to keep that airport going up there. But once again, that'll be 1 p.m. It will start at 1 p.m. on Saturday, September the 15th. $10 parking donation. As many as people you can get into a car for $10. Not bad.
Pile them in.
5 people, $2. So pretty good. All right. Not to be outdone, the James A. Rhodes Airport will have an event. It is scheduled for Saturday, September the 28th. It is called the James A. Rhodes Airport Fly-In. And it will be, according to what we have heard, they'll have thrilling activities, including a spectacular balloon glow, skydivers, and historical planes from the Warbird Museum. Now, at this point, they're announcing the date well in advance, and one of the reasons is they could use some sponsorships to help pay for all this. If you're interested in a sponsorship, you can contact the airport, or probably the Jackson County Commissioners can hook you up as well. But sponsorships run anywhere from $1,000 up to $500 up to $4,000. These are major sponsorships they're looking for. They feel that the total cost of doing this is $5,000.
Okay.
And so they're asking for some support from the community, particularly, I'm sure, maybe those companies and corporates who use the airport.
Sure, absolutely. And you want to talk about a fun family day. That would be really cool.
Right. Those are the ones where, you put your hands together and you pray for good weather for those airplanes that are there. And also just for the folks that are outside. It's an outdoor event, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. And the city of Wellston would like to announce that it is doing its bow hunt lottery again. As we know, we have a lot of deer in southeastern Ohio, and some of the deer are where they don't want them to be, and that includes within cities. All right. So obviously you can't hunt in cities,
right?
But there is a section of the law that allows for bow hunting rather than the gun season.
Okay.
And so Wellston has done this before, and it's been successful. They have areas where the deer populations are a little strong, not necessarily around houses or anything, but still in the city. This bow hunt lottery submissions are now open through Friday, August the 30th, according to the city of Wellston. And if you are picked in this, first of all, you got to register. But if you're one of the ones picked in the lottery, you will be able to do archery hunting on certain city property. It will take place from September 22nd to February 2nd. That's the bow hunting season. City officials will be allowing archery deer hunting on pre-approved city lands as a means of population control of the deer. Thinning the herd may minimize the potential for property damage associated with car-deer collisions and the animals feeding on shrubs and trees. You just need to go to the City of Wellston website or Facebook page, and you can get all the information that you need.
Okay.
However, because the archery season in the state starts early, September 28th, you don't have to wait till December for the gun season. Submissions through the lottery, chances to win the lottery, you have to do your submissions no later than August the 30th. So that's coming up pretty soon. So a bow hunt lottery in the city of Wellston for deer hunting. Also, we want to let you know that a couple of things in the city of Jackson tomorrow to alert you to if you live in certain areas. First of all, State Route 93 near McCarty Lane. That is just before you get to Walmart if you're coming from town. As you know, that's a very busy area.
Yes, it is.
One of the busiest in the town if you're thinking about traffic, or in the county for that matter, of course. But anyway, tomorrow for part of the day, State Route 93 near the McCarty Lane intersection is going to have to be closed.
Oh, Nelly.
So if you're local, you know how to get around. If you're on State Route 93 because you're traveling through, you'll have to figure it out. But the way that it's planned by the city of Jackson, this will be tomorrow from 4 a.m. to 12. They'll try to start real early and they'll try to wrap it up by 12. But for that 8-hour period, or that's what they're figuring, you cannot get through. State Route 93 will be closed there near the McCarty Lane intersection.
Okay.
They have to do some road repair. And of course, I'm sure this is all related to the water line
Mhm.
project that has been going on now for several weeks.
For 700 years.
where-
Seems like, but
where,
no.
you know, I mean, you see all the excavation out there.
Yeah.
That is putting in a new water line. I think it's going all the way out there from around McCarty Lane all the way into where about Pizza Hut is on East Main Street. And they've tried as much as possible not to have to bore into the road or even under the road, but a little bit of that is necessary for hookups and all.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we had a water main break there last week that closed the road for quite some time. And now it's time to do some road repair there. So it's just like getting your tooth filled or having a root canal. You got to get through it. But 8 hours from 4 a.m. to noon tomorrow, State Route 93 will be closed near McCarty Lane. So if you can manage your time and your trips to Walmart or wherever you're going, you might want to keep that in mind.
Yep.
Also, the city has announced that hydrant replacement work will be taking place on Chillicothe Pike tomorrow. Hydrant replacements on Chillicothe Pike on Wednesday. Doesn't have when on Wednesday, so pretty much plan on that at least during the work hours. It will be in the area of Smithbridge Road, Price's Switch, Simpson Road, and Chillicothe Pike from Smithbridge. So you're talking about just outside the city proper. But hydrants will be replaced. When that happens, you know, you're going to have maybe low or no water pressure for a little while, and then, you know, you're going to have to watch the quality of your water.
Right.
It'll be maybe discolored or whatever, so, you know, you need to let it run or whatever. Hard to predict how widespread that will be and when that will
You don't
be
know.
and
It's
or how much.
frustrating. But
It is. But once again, progress. I think it's very important to have operating fire
It's
hydrants that are in
kind
good
of
operating
important,
condition.
yes.
And the city, you know, wanted to put both of those notices out there so, you know, you would know about being inconvenienced and what was going on as well. I want to remind you, because, you know, the health department is doing those new services at Grace Clinic in Wellston. There were some people confused that when the health department started to do this, and it's every week from 8 to 4 on Wednesdays that they do these services. They do it at Grace Clinic at 22 South Ohio Avenue in Wellston, but it does not mean that Grace Clinic is not operating anymore. They have their services.
it's in addition to.
Right. So they're just, health department's just using the Grace Clinic location.
Right.
Because it's convenient to serve people, particularly in Wellston and in the Wellston area. But the Grace Clinic will be operating as they always do on Tuesday evenings from, I think they go from 5 to 7 a.m. or 5 to 7 p.m. at 22 South Ohio Avenue. And the health department will be there at Grace Clinic tomorrow from 8 to 4. All right. Also, the Festival of Flags, you know, they had that makeup day. We talked about that yesterday
Yes.
with Eric. And now we can tell you who the winners of the big car show is. Now, yeah, we'll see if we can get those pictures up for you. And one of the reasons we wanted to tell you about it was local. On the left, Ansel Cross with his famous yellow Chevrolet was the best of show. You can't do any better than that.
Yeah.
He had a couple of top awards in the recent Wheels of Steel car show as well. That's Ansel there on the left, and on the right, that is Tanner Rainyard, who I haven't met before, but he's from Oak Hill, and he had the Queen's Choice Trophy. That's
Oh,
the
cool.
one that I presume the royalty got to choose.
Yeah.
And that is on the right there. So we're going to list all the winners of the car show in Wednesday's paper, as well as the report on the Festival of Flags Fun Day event that was last Saturday. Give them so much credit. They went to a lot of work to plan an extra kind of makeup day because they had canceled events during the Memorial Day Festival of Flags. And you know, Jennifer, they had the bad luck. They had to cancel the parade again because of threatening weather.
It's crazy.
But they had the car show, and they had entertainment, and they had vendors there at Etna
Good
Park.
deal.
So that all was great. Okay, also, we want to tell you one last thing about the sports. It is kicking into high gear. You know, we alluded to that at the beginning of the program. Whereas all of our local football teams and high school football teams across the state start this weekend, most of them on Friday evening, we have fall sports already going on. The Jackson girls golf team remains undefeated. They have been in about, I think, it's right here. They have been in 4 league matches and have not lost. They are 20-0 on the season.
You go.
So give credit to Coach Kelly Wilson.
Yeah.
And Aubrey Arnold, who is their top player, shot 1 under par 35 to win low medalist honors in the latest Frontier Athletic Conference meet at Chillicothe.
Way to go.
That was last Thursday. And the last time I checked, Coach Kevin Bone's boys were undefeated. Now, we may be behind the match, so I can't confirm they still are, but at the last time that we collected information, they were undefeated.
Got
So
some good golfers around
the
here.
golfing is great. Also last night, we had a big volleyball match. The volleyball season and soccer season start this week. Big volleyball match in Wellston last night between Oak Hill and Wellston, 2 county rivals, and the competition was keen. Oak Hill ended up winning, but listen how close these scores were. Oak Hill 25, Wellston 22, Wellston 29, Oak Hill 27, Oak Hill 25, Wellston 20, Oak Hill 25, Wellston 23.
Wow.
I mean, very, very close.
Man.
There were a total of 36 ties and 19 lead changes during that match. Todd Thompson was there, with his head going back and forth watching that
Yeah,
volleyball match.
that was,
And
woo.
I know he'll have a report in the Telegram there. And speaking of the fall sports, we have a big fall sports preview. Papers rarely do those, but we do a fall sports preview as well as a football preview. Fall sports on Saturday's paper, football preview in Wednesday's paper, and that's why I'm out of breath.
You go, Pete Wilson. And no, we do appreciate the fact that you all go above and beyond because, obviously, football, basketball, those kind of sports are I guess, popular, but there's a whole lot of other kids out there doing a lot of great things as well. And you take time to honor them.
They work very hard, as do the band kids
Yes.
and the cheerleading kids.
Yep. All of them.
I think any band kid will, when you talk about the football players out there on those 2-a-days, they
Oh
will
my
tell you
gosh.
that they do the equivalent of getting ready for the band
Absolutely
season.
marching up and down that hill. Are you kidding me?
Right. And,
Here in Jackson?
it's late July and early August that you're doing it, and that's kind of the weather you can expect.
Whew, it's rough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They just don't march on that field, on opening football field, without a lot of work to get ready.
A lot of work. You're
Exactly.
right. Well, Pete, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us this morning. And we greatly appreciate it. And thanks to Tiffany Baldwin from the Downtown Association there in Chillicothe, talking about some of the amazing things that they're doing to promote their downtown, and they're doing such wonderful things there as well. So, all right, we will be back tomorrow. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you back then. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye-bye.
Okay, very good, sir. You made it.
Sorry about not having those
Oh,
on.
no, maybe I thought I sent it, but I don't know, maybe it didn't show up or something.
It also could have been me because this. Again,
Oh, I know. Hey, you didn't get any practice time. You just had to roll. You did good.
You did real good, kid.
You did
I
real good.
feel like having Sean and both of you guys here actually did get my understanding of what I would be doing. So
Sure. It just takes practice, Thanks, Pete.
Yep,
I
you're
appreciate you.
I don't know. I mean, I would be fine trying to do this if he needs help during the school year because I'm not going anymore. So, but I don't know
Okay.
that was also stressful. I got here early because he's like, it's 8 to 10. So I was like, okay, I should probably get here early. And I get in here and it's no lights and just boxes. On
Yeah,
the floor.
exactly.
Alright,
Hello. Oh, okay. We're still live. I figured as much.